Hello, my name's Andrew Michael. I'm UKIP's Parliamentary Candidate for Hastings and Rye. And here we are in our TV room, commonly known as the Gogglebox room, with my wife Caroline. And she's got some questions for me, I believe. Is that right, Caroline?
Well, I'm only going to ask you what things, that people might actually be thinking. For example, why is it that you joined UKIP in the first place?
You know why?
Well, I don't know, I might know, but tell everybody else why.
Okay, I'll do just that. I joined UKIP because they really struck a chord with me. I've never been, as you know, a member of a political party before. And I had to join UKIP because it was like magnetism. Everything they said struck a chord with me, and I thought it's absolutely right, whether it was the EU, whether it was immigration, whether it was taxation.
NHS.
Absolutely, totally the NHS. And I thought, I've got to join them, it's going to happen, so I did.
Good.
Yeah, it's all good.
And you're glad that you did?
I'm totally glad that I did. And I'm thrilled that they chose me as their parliamentary candidate as well. And I'm going to give it my best shot. You know about Hastings and Rye anyway. You know that it's a two-horse race between the Conservatives and Labour, and always has been. This time round, however, I'm going to turn it into a three-horse race, with UKIP winning by a nose.
You've been practising.
What else do you want to know then?
Okay then, Andy, so the question on everybody's lips, the one everybody wants the answer to, is why on earth should the UK leave the EU?
The UK needs to leave the EU for both political reasons and economic reasons. We need to leave because politically our authority has been whittled down so much. You know, I'm a bit of a geek and I do the number crunching. Our voice in the EU is now 8.5%. That's what it comes out at when you look at our authority in the European Commission, the European Parliament and the European Council. Now 8.5% is absolutely paltry and pathetic. No wonder we couldn't veto the appointment of the federalist guy who wants to create a United States of Europe, Jean-Claude Juncker, as President of the Commission. No wonder when Cameron said that he wanted to curb European immigration into the UK, the President of the European Council, no less, Donald Tusk, called it Mission Impossible, basically telling Cameron, you can't do what you want anymore. And we can't. We have very little authority. You know, we have far greater authority in the world than in the European Union. If you consider we're the 5th largest economy in the world, the 5th largest military power in the world, we're one of 5 permanent members of the United Nations Security Council, and we're the head of a fantastic Commonwealth of 53 independent nation states. We have got a far greater voice in the world than in the ramshackle and stagnant EU.
Yes, but they say that, employment would...
They do say that. They say that 3 million jobs are at risk. Well, that is scaremongering. That is frightening people. 3 million jobs might be linked to trade with the European Union, but that trade will continue. As it did in the past, that trade will totally continue. And the reason it will continue is because the European Union sells far more stuff to us than we sell to them, by the tune of about £50 billion a year. So they're not going to cut off their 27 noses to spite their 27 faces, are they?
So it's not the doomsday that everybody predicts.
No, absolutely not. And there are massive savings when we come out. There's the £11 billion membership fees, but that's just a part of it. If you add together the Common Agricultural Policy, the Common Fisheries Policy, all the rules and regulations and the abuse of the benefits and welfare system, the whole ball of wax as I call it, you're talking about a saving of about £107 billion a year. We absolutely need to come out of the European Union for political and economic reasons.
Okay. Okay then, Andy. What about this other UKIP hot potato?
What's that?
That everyone always talks about immigration. Why should we control immigration?
We need to control immigration because there are simply far too many people coming into the country. If you look at the average for the post-war years from 45 to 2000, there are approximately 30,000 people a year coming into the country.
Okay.
Well, the latest figures are 300,000 people came in the last 12 months. That's 10 times more than before the beginning of 2000. 10 times more people. It's simply unsustainable. You know that there's pressure on the NHS, on housing, on education,
on schools,
on the benefit
on
system, on the jobs. And with jobs, what's this oversupply of labour doing? It's pushing down wages. And it's working class people who have been affected by the compression of wages. So the whole thing needs to be moderated. You know, I'm not saying stop immigration. Immigration is a wonderful thing. I'm pro-immigration. For heaven's sake, I'm the son of immigrant parents.
Well, exactly.
You know, I know all about immigration, and I love immigration. And I love the culture that it brings, but it needs to be moderated, that's all.
Well, so what's the official UKIP policy on immigration then? How would they deal with this?
The official policy, which I believe is absolutely the right one, is that we need an Australian-style, points-based visa system. So if you can offer skills that the country needs, whether it's medicine, software engineering, nursing, if you've got the skills and we need those people, you're welcome with open arms. One of the big issues here is with the European Union, of course, where there's free movement of labour.
So anyone can come in willy-nilly, which is completely wrong, because take, for example, an Indian software engineer. He might be brilliant, but he won't get a look in, because a European Union guy will walk in and take the job, even though the Indian software engineer, or the Australian software engineer for that matter, might be much better. So we need a level playing field, and it's a much fairer system to have a points-based visa system. Okay, well, because immigration is such a big part of UKIP's policy, a lot of people tend to think that UKIP is then racist. And it's a big issue with a lot of people who say that, well, you know, that they think that UKIP is a racist party because of their stance on immigration. Is that true?
Well, I do come across it occasionally, this idea that UKIP's got racist parts to it. You know, it's absolute rubbish. You know, you can talk about immigration without being a racist. Clearly that's the case. You know, just talking about moderating immigration doesn't make you a racist. As the son of immigrant parents, as I said, you know, I understand all the subtleties of racism that exist, and UKIP just isn't like that. You know, the idea of racism is that one culture or one group of people are inferior to another group of people. UKIP doesn't see groups of people in those terms at all, as far as I'm concerned. UKIP's colourblind, I think, as Farage said at one point, and he's absolutely right.
Well, there are lots of ethnic minority people in UKIP, so I suppose how can it be racist? They wouldn't join it.
Totally.
You wouldn't join it.
I wouldn't have joined it.
Nobody, you know, in this family would be associated with it.
It's just a case of mudslinging from our opponents. It's an easy way to throw mud at us, and it's absolute rubbish.
Trouble is, mud sticks.
Sometimes. But you can always wash it off.
Yeah, that's true. Okay then, Andy, so fast forward to May the 7th.
Yep.
And, you know, we're standing there in the little booth with our paper and our pencil ready to put our cross.
Democracy in action.
Indeed. Why should anyone put their cross next to UKIP?
Firstly, because we're going to get our powers back from Brussels. We don't want to end up as just a star on the EU flag. And economically, we're going to save £11 billion a year in membership fees, for which we're getting almost nothing in return. So that's going to strengthen the economy.
A lot.
A lot. Hugely. Foreign aid, we're going to reduce by £9 billion on the principle that charity begins at home. The British people are generous, as you know, but so much of that money that goes abroad isn't well spent, and we're going to save all that and focus on humanitarian aid and famine relief. So all that money is going to be saved.
And that could go into the NHS.
That could absolutely go into the NHS. We're pledging £3 billion a year more into the NHS, because we are the party of the NHS. And there's absolutely no reason that Labour should try and claim the NHS as its own, because actually the £3 billion that we're pledging for the NHS is more than the other two main parties, a lot more. So we're the party of the NHS. Income tax. We want to increase the threshold so that nobody earning minimum wage pays any income tax whatsoever.
Why should they?
Why should they? The other main parties haven't pledged that. Inheritance tax. People have paid taxes their whole lives. They've got some savings left, or they've got their house left. If they want to pass that on to their children, that's absolutely the right and proper thing. So no inheritance tax whatsoever. And small businesses are being oppressed by red tape from Brussels. You know, big businesses can deal with it, but small businesses find it burdensome. So we're going to scrap all that.
The lifeblood of the country.
I was brought up in a small business. We ran a small business. I am massively pro small business, and UKIP is also the party of small business.
Good.
Yeah, and do you know why? Do you know why at the end of the day people are going to vote UKIP? Because UKIP are marching to the heartbeat of the British people. The People's Army is on the march.
The Purple Army.
The Purple Army is on the march. And we are an insurgent party at the end of the day, and we're taking on, we're challenging the establishment, the Lib Lab Con, that have let the British people down over a whole generation. It's time for something new. It's time for UKIP.
Ah.
Thank you very much indeed for watching, and a special message for the good people of Hastings and Rye for May the 7th. Believe in Britain, believe in me, and vote UKIP.